All right, are you ready?
Yeah? This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. Bold, bright and everlasting. You can find us at 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia.
All right, welcome back to Carlisle Studios. I am Bella Hunter, and today I have here with me...
Hal Hunter.
Charles Cooper.
Luke Etho. Jack Scanlan.
And these are the Carlisle Tattoo Co. apprentices as of the last, year and a half?
12 months, I would say.
Yeah, great.
Big puppies.
Yeah, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel with guests. So.
Who do we get in this week?
We were getting desperate.
Aaron's in Hawaii. You can't get him again.
We can't talk about that, Jack.
Oh,
That's a secret. That's like...
You've already cooked the episode.
No, we're going to get him on as a tell-all reveal when he gets back.
But he said we're not allowed to mention it, so just pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, moving on.
Classified.
I reckon we kick it off with, as we always do, a weekly recap. I reckon we just go from left to right. So I'm on the left, so I'll go first.
Go.
Weekly recap. Well, it's like, again, 1.5 weeks, I reckon, since we did the last one. Probably the main thing was me and Cody. Cody Hill starred in Dick Tats and Heroin episode. We flew to Brisbane for 24 hours and it was exhausting.
And why did you go?
We tattooed at a customer of mine's motorcycle show called The Showdown. It was at the Trifford in Brisbane. I mean, we could have planned it better, but I planned it last minute. So flew up there at 6 a.m. in the morning, tattooed from 12 until 11:30 that night. Then we went to the airport, stayed at the airport hotel, and then we flew back at 6 a.m. the next morning. So
Damn.
yes, it was draining. Good experience. I mean, something like, it was good to say you've done it and, you know, tattoo in a different environment with live bands playing and stuff. But
Yeah, you said it was great fun.
yeah, it was just difficult to...
Hal's not the best at dealing with busy situations. He just wants to chill. So you would have had much smoother sailing if I came and did your setups and talked to everyone for you and you just got to tattoo.
Well, I think that was the hardest bit was... Doing the tattoos is fine. It was fucking pitch black, but other than that, it's the you know, all your shit's not in the same place as where you normally tattoo, so that makes it...
Bella's not there to do it for you.
Yes.
Well, from the videos, it looked crazy. It was the stage. You're on the catwalk above the stage.
Catwalk!
That's what it looked like in some of those videos.
It looked sick.
There's a full band there.
Was I think 10 bands played.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you said a band an hour or something.
so it was they were all really good bands, which was good, but I definitely overcommitted with the bookings. So that put me on, after my first tattoo, I was running close to 2 hours behind.
Yeah, good start to the
So-
day.
Back.
That made it difficult. But yeah, good experience. And then, what else have I done then?
Well, then you came home and you were a dishevelled mess. You were so tired and drained. So that was really fun for me for our one day off together. Yeah. And then it was a working week. No, you had Saturday off. I'm going to say it. Hal took a day off.
Wow. Damn.
Part-timer.
I know.
Skipped out on the run too.
Yep,
You called me out in front of all the young boys.
I did. Yeah, you said you were feeling fluey and you were like, oh, I'm just so tired. I was like, fine, fucking stay home. Shut up.
Yeah.
Loving wife.
You put one notch against my name in the book.
Yeah, I have. Public record too. Everyone knows.
I just remember me, Jack, Bobby, just waiting there 6 a.m. for Hal to rock up for our morning run and beach swim. And he wasn't there.
No, I was surfing.
Scared of the eight.
This is the thing. It's the day before, I was absolutely cooked. I felt fucked at work. And this is last Friday.
I was feeding him Panadols and Hydrolite, trying to make him survive.
And then I was that night, I was oh, fuck, I might... Well, actually, Bella, you told me not to work. So don't fully blame me.
Okay, that's on you.
Yeah. And
I
then
gave you an opportunity.
I was cancelled my day. But then the next morning I felt really good. So I ended up going surfing. And then when I was coming back from surfing, I called Bella to see where she was because I was going to go to work if she was still at home, but she'd already left. And then I was like, oh, well,
Early bird gets the worm.
Left you stranded.
pretty much. Your weekly recap, Bella?
My weekly recap was great. I had a wonderful week. Don't really remember what I did as per normal, but yesterday we started shading on a Battle Royale back piece that I spoke about a few episodes ago. So that was good. Don't really remember what else.
I send you these fucking prompt notes days before the episodes. Every week I send all these notes, I write them down.
All right, I'm going through my photos.
And then I always get to the...
Oh, it was both of my parents' 60th, so that was nice. We had a nice weekend.
Congrats.
Yep. Oh, I did some cool hand tats
Milestone there.
the other day. That was good fun. And that's about it, really.
What hand tats did you do?
Oh, thanks, Luke. We did a skull on one side and then like flames on the knuckles coming up.
Oh, that was actually sick.
Yeah, and then we did a rose on the other one with some barbed wire.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Cool. With the full Jap bodysuit.
Very nice.
Bodysuit.
Charlie boy?
My weekly recap. I did my first screwball tattoo. So that's
Explain what that is for the listeners that don't know.
well, it's hard. It's a sort of weird design, would you say? It's an 8
I would say it's a very critical, hard
It's a hard tap.
tattoo to do. And you did it very well.
It's an 8 ball
ace.
with a screw like through the top of it, hence
Yeah.
the name. But it's just basically,
It's
5
like perfect circles and then lots of straight lines. But the circle is so critical because if there's like a wobble or anything, the design is cooked.
Yeah.
And you did a very good job.
I was pretty happy with it.
Firsthand, I seen the lines; they were very clean.
I was
Oh, how's
I
the
was happy with how that
support?
turned out.
We're a supportive team at Colour.
Yeah, pat on the back. I had my first client not come back from the ATM.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot to tell you.
Did you chase him down?
Nah, so it was just a walk in like this sort of
It was like an older woman, yeah?
a motherly aged woman
It could
who
be
just
anything.
got an initial on her ankle. It took like 10 minutes. And she seemed stoked with it. Yeah, I love this. How much do I owe ya? Like double checked how much to get out from the ATM.
She's tricking you.
And then I was waiting for a long time.
Still waiting.
I couldn't believe it.
Nah,
I still
neither.
don't believe it.
Stoked because she knew it was free.
Well, if she's out there listening to this, we got eyes on the
Maybe she was walking to the ATM and she had like a seizure or something and then like the ambos had to come. Let's pretend that happened.
Yeah, there was lots of scenarios
she's
in my
okay
head
if she
if she
did.
got kidnapped or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Cool.
So I hope she's okay, but yeah.
Where's my money?
Where's the hungy?
I had this one bloke at Vintigue, so years ago, who, and I don't reckon this is true at all, but he reckons he was in Carpathian, the band, and I know most of the, I don't know him personally, but I looked it up and I was like, pretty sure he wasn't. And anyway, he came in and got this rose behind his ear, and I'd done like fuck all tats like in that area, so I was like pretty nervous and everything. And I only charged him $100. Like I've been tatting for a bit, but so did this tat, charge him 100. He only had 50. So he's like, oh, I live just around the corner. I'll go get the money. So he goes to get the money and just never comes back.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what the fuck? And at the end of the day, I was sort of like, oh, it's only $50, you know, like whatever. But Scott was like, fuck that, man. Like, no way. So Scott put this big thing up on Facebook.
It's the principle.
That was like, if anyone knows this bloke, fucking let me know his address, all this shit. And I was like, oh my God. Anyway, it went like 2 or 3 days and I was just like, whatever. But the weird thing was he left his phone and his iPod at the shop.
Oh, back in the day where
Yeah.
iPods were.
And then
The
it was
Nano.
like 3 days later, I reckon, I was tattooing and he comes in and someone's like, oh, you all right, man? And he's like, oh, I've just got $50 for Hal. And then he's like, oh, is my iPod and phone here? And I was like, oh, it's in the drawer, man. So he just left him $50 and took his shit and didn't say like, sorry, it's been 3 days or whatever.
That's so strange.
ATM was out.
Although in his defense, yes, 3 days late, but also it would have been so awkward. You would have been like, oh, here's the money. I just got to go. Like you wouldn't have wanted to be like, hey, sorry, this is what happened. Because it is very awkward.
Oh, it was fucking weird.
Oh, but did he just assume he could just come back and pay it like the other half whenever?
Yeah, maybe in like 3
I
years.
don't know. I
Because he's put that 50% deposit down for the tat. I'll just pay it like after pay.
I've never
Yeah.
clarified.
Yeah.
But anyway, Lukey.
All right. So
I like that you've come prepared, by the way, with notes.
Yeah, I need notes.
Opposite of me.
I got the worst memory. I'll forget shit. So I did a few walk-ins last week. I tattooed some kid's first tattoo and he got hustle on his arm.
Damn.
Good
That
on
was
him.
pretty crazy.
That is sick.
And then I just tattooed a bunch of flash off my new big flash sheet, which was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good week.
That was a sick painting.
It's a very good sheet.
That was a good
Thank
painting.
you.
If anyone wants one, they're for sale. How much are they, Luke?
Probably 100. I don't know.
All right, we're making them. They're $100
Thought
bucks.
about it.
And what are they? A1.
Depends how he feels.
Yeah, A1 or the biggest arches size.
That's
you
a
can
weird.
get.
So it's a weird size. It's B2.
Yeah,
It's weird. But yeah, they're for sale. Anyone who wants one, hit them up.
yeah. Hit me up.
All right.
Jackie
You go on
boy.
to Jack?
Yeah, so my week started off pretty rough with like heaps of fine line stuff. And honestly, I do not want to see another needle smaller than 14 again. That shit sucked.
Last week I was calling him Fine Line Jack all week because every
dude.
single tattoo besides like one was very thin.
My eyes were strained. Like my head was that close to the fucking person's arm too. Like just trying to. It's too hard.
I'm
How'd
getting
they
a
go
real,
though, Jack?
real diva vibe from you guys.
Really?
I'm not.
Just complaints happening on the mic.
I like it though.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so like throughout my whole apprenticeship, I haven't really done too many difficult tats like torso and like knees, webs and that. But then this week I got slammed with 3 torso tats and 3 webs as well. So I was standing up for majority of them, which I've never stood up to do a tat before. And the bed
no,
was
what
on
a
like the
terrible thing.
lowest setting like this. And dude, my back is fucking killing me. Like, I was just trying to tat. I was trying to get it done. I was stressing by the tat. Like,
Tunnel vision.
oh, it was too hard. But nah, got there in the end. They all turned out sweet.
All right. I like that. Oh, I thought you were going to read
No,
it.
I'm waiting for you to. I was holding this for you.
I thought you picked it up as if you were going to read it.
No, I can read it if you want.
Yeah,
So
you
we've done
go.
the weekly recap and what you've tattooed. Any interesting stories, designs, placement, or outside of work
Oh,
activities?
you have not read these notes, fella.
No, because I want to stitch you up here.
Okay.
This is Hal's prompts.
No, those prompts came under the weekly recap.
It's very poorly constructed.
No, you just didn't read it.
No, I did.
Feel free to write your own notes.
I have mine mentally.
So I wanted to ask, secondly, how long all of you have been tattooing?
So we'll start in order again. So we'll go Charles, Cooper.
Charlie boy.
Yeah, just over a year now, I'd say. Me and Luke started around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just over a year.
Yeah, and what do you reckon? Can you remember what your first tattoo was? I'm sure you can.
The first tattoo that I did,
Like in the shop
Is
or
that on?
Yeah, like proper tat.
Yeah, in the shop.
yeah.
Is that on me?
does Luke count?
Yeah, oh, I would say that does.
No. I'll
first
ask the question again.
First client.
First client that you don't know.
It would have been a skull, I reckon. First design.
What was yours, Lukey?
It was an eagle with its wings spread in like a love heart. So it was just like the eagle head and then its wings spread like.
Oh, that's on the dude that I tapped.
Yeah. That was my first one up at private.
Oh, sick.
I can't even think of it.
Yeah.
That's terrible of me.
I remember sending it to you
Yeah.
and you were like, fuck yeah.
I remember. It was good. I remember. And how long have you tattooed?
Since I'm pretty sure we started in April last year. So
Okay. Not long.
not long at all, eh?
Ah. Jackie?
Yeah, so I started actually tatting people other than me mates and myself in September last year. So it's been like 5-6 months.
Fuck.
It's pretty crazy.
It feels
Damn.
like it's been like 4 years.
It feels like a fucking long. It feels like a long time.
A
In my
lifetime.
mind.
We're getting old.
Yeah. We'll start with you again then, Jack.
Yeah.
So this is general questions. Get your name out there a bit of info, background, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, love it.
Deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah. It's like first kiss. Nah. Oh, that was bad. When did you first start getting interested in tattooing? Was there like a thing, or you saw something, or like?
Oh, it was pretty much like the moment I started getting like really interested in tattoos was once I turned 18 and started getting them. Like I'd always kind of liked them, but I didn't really know too much about them.
How
But
old are
then-
you now?
25. Oh, Jesus, that is. That's up there.
If you told me you were 19, I'd believe you.
Same.
All right, yeah, 19 boys.
Little baby face.
But yeah, started getting tatted, then ended up found my way to Big B Skins. And then, from there, just started getting really into it, learning more about it, realising there's a whole, like, culture around it. So, yeah, that's pretty much, like, how I got into it.
Yeah, nice. Lukey?
In my notes, I've got Dad, Uncle, and Crusty Demons.
What a trio.
So,
You're from the country, aren't you?
yeah, I'm from Portland.
So for
Portland,
anyone
Victoria.
that doesn't know, Luke and Aaron are cousins. So they grew up together in Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And they like the Crusty Demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to froth that shit.
I used to go to I've been to Crusty Demons.
I just remember like they all had eyeballs with wings on their necks and shit, and I thought that was so cool. But they were like fully rinsed in tats. And my dad and my uncle had like a couple on their shoulders, and I just remember always looking at them and thinking they're sick.
Yep.
But I didn't really start getting into it properly until Aaron started apprenticing. And I just let him go crazy on my legs because he needed someone to practice on. And then like I started to understand what traditional was and like all the classic designs and the history on it and stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, that's pretty much what got me into it. But I never thought I was going to be tattooing. Like, I don't even really know how it happened.
I know exactly.
So
how it
random.
I remember the day that it happened, the discussion,
Yeah, so it was during
lockdown.
COVID, one of the lockdowns, and I went to. It doesn't really matter now because it's all happened, but I went to Aaron and your place, which is out in Shadston,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was getting tattooed by Aaron.
That old dump.
I think it was the first time I met you,
Yeah, it was.
and you were there doing something,
I was painting.
and then I think Aaron showed me a tat you did on him.
Yeah. Like the day before I had to go because we were so bored over COVID. And I was like, fuck, this is sick. And then, you came around.
And it was
the next
actually
day.
real, like, honestly, pretty good tat.
Mind you, Luke was pretty into design and like graphic design stuff
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So you'd done heaps of that in the past.
I've been drawing like every day since I can remember, really.
Yeah.
And living with a tattooer is always going to like speed you along a bit and stuff.
100%.
But and Aaron was like talking to me about it, but he didn't want to take on an apprentice and all that sort of shit. And we sort of like we needed someone at the shop. And anyway, ultimately it worked out. But that's how it started.
Good timing.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie
Very
boy.
lucky.
It's hard to trace it back, but I reckon it was around maybe, I don't know, 16, 17 when you start sort of noticing stuff like that. Just a lot of dudes in the area would have like elbow webs or, tattoos like that. And then, when I got my first tat, when I walked into Vintique, got tatted by Bobby. And
What was your first tattoo for everyone listening?
So I got a heinously big noose on my
Can you
torso.
stand up in the camera and get it out, please?
Get
First
the rig out.
tattoo.
This one here. So without the skull, because Bella added that one in. But first one off the bat, I went in there and thinking back now, it would have hurt like a lot. But in my mind, I'm just like, oh, this is what tattoos feel like. This is what the pain is like for all of them, I didn't have any
yuck.
idea about better spots or worse spots. I was just like, oh,
This is it.
this is it.
And
This is
Bobby
how people
probably
do
would have
it.
been like, the sternum's easy, bro. It's all good.
Well, Bobby lets you know that he's tatting you, for sure.
Heavy-handed, eh?
But so then I just kept getting tatted by Bobby. Well, since I was 18, so it's like 7 years or 6-7 years or something. He's probably done 90% of all my work. And
And you got all cool shit from him, didn't you?
nah, no. Are we going to talk about the tat you did on me? Yeah. Well, majority of it was cool. At the start, it was heaps of just really bad ideas that I brought. And he would be like, oh, I don't think that was going to work. And in my head, I'm like, what do you mean? This is the sickest idea ever. Like, you couldn't tell me that it was a bad idea or that it was going to turn out bad. I just thought it was the best idea ever. So there's a few blast overs along the way, but we're here now.
Bella?
Oh, I'm included in this.
You're on the show, aren't you?
Oh, shit. Well, I feel like I've already explained how I got into tattooing, haven't I?
Explain it again.
Oh, I don't know. I always wanted to tattoo from when I was in high school, maybe like 15, 16 or something. And always was like following tattooers on bloody like Tumblr and all that crap. I know.
No,
that's embarrassing.
That's a throwback.
That shows my age, hey. And I was a bit too scared to start getting tattooed because I am a sook. And Hal sort of said, just fucking do it, stop being a pussy. So I went and got tattooed and I was like, this is sick. I want to keep getting more.
What was the first tattoo you got?
Well, probably wouldn't get it now, but I did get it from a really good artist. I went to Sean Jackson. Oh my God, I can't talk. And I got...
Who used to work at Tattoo Magic and he's just moved to Third Eye.
Yeah. Like a week or two ago, he announced it. And I got FOUR, so 4 on my hip. Pretty lame, I know. Sorry, mum and dad. But it's, I don't know, it's like a family's lucky number, whatever. But yeah, got that. And then I was like, all right, well, after this, I need to get some cooler stuff. So yeah.
Nice. I sort of recall getting into tattooing because I had one of my best friends in high school. He moved to our school in year 9 or 10? 10. And he came over from Perth and he had a tattoo on his chest of like some American Indian feathers. And I was super into it. And anyway, it ended up his half brother, they were brothers, but I can't remember the exact relation, had a tattoo shop in Altona. And one of the guys at that shop had done the tat for my friend Matt. And anyway, I sort of started getting into it. It was around the time of sort of Miami Ink as well, so I was watching heaps of that. And I ended up getting my first tattoo done by the same guy. Granted, it's possibly my worst tattoo.
Absolutely.
Is that the rib one?
Yeah.
That's the best one, I think.
I think you need to get this out too. Come on. Show
so
the camera.
far away.
Walk up there and do it. Everyone is going to laugh at you and I
Give
love
people
it.
what they want.
This is my favourite
Give
tat.
the people what they want. Oh, it's so good.
Can we see it?
Lots of black in there.
Oh, damn.
The closer you look, the better it gets too.
Love it.
But anyway, that was my introduction into tattooing. I guess we'll throw it back. This is just all questions. I sort of was like, I wanted to hear all these things answered by you guys about like, all about tattooing and stuff, because a lot of our conversations we have around your careers and stuff is about like, how you're going, how you're progressing, more on the technical side of things. But, I guess like a lot of your customer base might not know these things, so it's good to put it out there. So do you have a favorite tattoo that you've done? Who's going?
That's you, Jack. I need thinking
All
time.
right, so I reckon my favourite one that I've done so far would probably be like the Doberman head. I don't know, it's not too much of a classic design. It's more, I don't know, it's just something that I've enjoyed doing, and I reckon that was probably one of my first tats that I was like really happy with how clean it came out. And yeah, I just overall enjoyed tatting it. It was just a fun time, and I've done it a couple times now, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lukey?
First one that pops in my head is the eyeball with the fork and the flames around it. Yeah, pretty much, eh? I love doing colour, so that was fun as for me.
Yep.
I think I referenced it from an old picture machine flash, and then it was in black, so I coloured it myself.
Nice.
And I just, was stoked on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a favourite one, Charlie?
I can see Charles looking through all of his photos being like, fuck, I'm not
Scrolling
prepared.
down the Insta.
Yeah.
I think it would have been the first one I did, which I thought that, okay, now I'm like on the right path, that I thought was good, like passable, was probably, it's that old Sailor Jerry design. It's like a bulldog, the USMC one with the boxing gloves and the sailor hat, I think. That full colour. And I just remember doing it, and then
You're pretty chuffed.
the lines went in easy, and I didn't have, it wasn't like a battle to try and to get it across the line. Everything just happened, and I reckon that was probably one of my favourites for sure.
I don't know about my best, but one that I am really happy with to this day. I probably did it about over a year ago. It was on Zach, who was the old sort of like shop guy and our assistant. I did a rose on the side of his head. Colour. I don't really get to do a lot of colour, and I really do love doing it. So it's nice to be able to have a colour that's like one of my favourites.
No, it was a good tat, and I would say slightly different
Style
than
what I normally
do.
Yeah. Well, I guess like style is more depicted by what your customers want a lot more so what you want to do as well. And Zach sort of let us do whatever we wanted to an extent, which was sick. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really fun one. Very happy with it still to this day.
How did that style differ from what you usually do?
It was not like
more. I'd say more involved.
Okay.
Bit more detail.
Yeah. It's not like fine line or anything like that at all, but it's just like a lot more. It's not as like thick and bold and chunky. It's more refined.
It's like traditional.
Fuck, I don't even know. I sound like an idiot.
Like very specific here, but it's like I would say it's like it's still traditional.
It's a hard one
but
to
it's
explain.
not like a stripped back basic design. It's a bit more, a bit more going on. Yeah.
There was a lot of effort involved.
Yeah. I've got one in my mind. Like I've got heaps of tats that I really like and stuff like that. I wouldn't have necessarily one favourite, but I think probably because I saw him yesterday, the Jesus head that I did on the top of J-Boy's head.
Mr. Jason Martin.
Sick.
That was, I think like I do a lot of gentleman heads and stuff like that, but I'm not sure. I've never felt like super comfortable doing faces. I think like, cause with a rose, like you can sort of make like, everyone's going to know it's a rose, like, and it's always going to, you could make it real wild or super stripped back.
But it will always look like a clean rose.
It's still going to look like a rose, but with a face, like it needs to be properly proportioned.
It can't be just style choice.
That's it.
If the face looks wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah, you make them cross-eyed real easy.
That's it. If one of the eyes is like on a bit of a different angle or something, like you fuck the whole tat. So, and because I don't do heaps of them, like that's always something that I'm pretty conscious of. So doing that one, and I just remember like when I was doing it, it was just going in so easy. Like,
I walked up because you were at the other shop at the time. I walked up and like watched you for a bit, and I was like, "Fuck, it is dropping in like butter."
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. And sometimes I find with the top of the head, because the skin's always quite tight, is like the line's going good, but then the shading, it's like there's really
harder.
Like no give with the skin. So it's like, I feel like you can chew it up real easy, and I see a lot of head tats like heal super light or like it drops out heaps and stuff. So this was one that just like went in easy as, healed quick as, like healed the same as how it looked fresh and stuff. And
it still looks good. I saw him last night for dinner.
I know.
And it looks
I
sick.
got the late invite to that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. We got invited yesterday when he was here. So, no, thanks, J-Boy. Early invites are...
Yeah. But that would just be one of them. I mean, there's heaps. I could look through my phone and
Have you boys done any heads yet?
I've done a neck. I haven't done a head yet. I've done like a behind the ear tat as well. I don't know if that counts really.
Yeah, I've only done like the behind the ear, like 2 numbers. So it was like straight lines as well. And wouldn't really want to see it right now. But
I've seen it. I tattooed her after
Was it all right?
after you did it.
Was it all right? Or?
It was good.
Yeah.
Have you done one, Luke?
Yeah, I did Bubby's head.
That's right. That's right.
And
All the webs.
Yeah, I remember drilling him, and he's like, "Turn your machine down."
But that was.
He drills you.
But then he said I stunted his hair, like made it start growing again or something.
So I reckon
Yeah, because Bobby's severely balding.
I reckon with Bobby's hair. So the first head tat he ever got was we did a whole day legit, blasted his whole back. Like it would be probably solid like 6 to 8 hours doing his back.
And he was
then-
like on vodka cruises the whole time, so he was pretty pissed.
We spoke about that on another episode, but then he goes, at the end, he's like, "Oh, do you want to tap my head?" And I was like, "Oh, what?" Anyway, so he did this butterfly on the top of his head, but more towards the front. And
I've heard about this.
so I gave him this fucked as grandpa haircut, like where you shave the top, but you leave the rest. And I honestly don't reckon.
It never grew back.
It never grew back.
Nah.
You deleted his hairline.
Yeah.
But so when Luke put all the webs and stuff on the top of his head,
Fixed it.
he's got him in so hard, it's actually stimulated hair growth. And now it's like Ashley Martin. He's got a full head of hair now.
Oh, it's actually coming back.
Yeah.
That's on the comeback.
So if anyone's balding and desperately wants more hair,
Come to me.
Because that was towards the start of your like tattoo journey, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bobby just messaged me one night. He's like, "Do you want to tap my head tomorrow?" And I usually just say yes to stuff like that, to like put myself under
Did
pressure.
you have to cover up the ear tats he had as well?
No, that was me.
that was
Oh,
Charles.
that was you.
So
Charles got stitched
I
up
got
with
the
that.
message that was like, "Hey man, do you want to fill some small gaps?" I don't think I'd tattooed any like real people yet, just close mates or myself. It's like, "Hey, do you want to fill some small gaps tomorrow before my appointment?" I was like, "Yeah, sick." And then he came in and he dropped it on me. He had he had glad wrapped his torso, so he had all the numbing cream on his guts,
yeah.
which I ended up just blasting over heaps of these old tats.
I remember you messaging me because I said I've tatted his guts as well. And 'cause
So have I. It's terrible.
So yeah,
100% saturated.
full saturated purple background on his torso. And this is when I was still quite new to tattooing. So when I put the stencil on, the purple's just like the purple of the stencil. It was hard to see at the start, and then about 2 lines in, I've wiped it all off. So then I was just freestyling at that point, and the whole time he was going, "Come on, man, my client's gonna be here in an hour. We gotta finish this. We gotta finish this."
Pumping you.
So we've done the guts. We ended up doing I tattooed the inside of his ear. I think something on his collarbone. Yeah, there was a few ones that we did, and it was just blasting over stuff. But I just remember I was standing up and doing his guts, and I was just sweating so much, so hot.
Oh, it would have been.
Because I was stressing out.
It's a good way to learn. Put you under the pressure. See how you do.
Bobby loves to do that because I
Yeah.
remember the ear tats that you covered up, I actually did them.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, I'd done no tats like that at all. And it's like, ear tats, you're not doing anything crazy, but they're real small and it's a weird, you got to hold his ear and it's odd situation. And I remember I just did them real heavy and they were fucking thick as.
Like
And I
you
remember
can see
Scott
him
said
from
to
the
me-
back.
Scott said to me afterwards, he's like, "Mate, you've absolutely fucked his ears."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was joking. Well, I hope he was joking, but yeah, that's stuck with me.
Yeah. That's why he's got the blue haze behind the ears when you look. You've just gone the whole way through. Needles come out the other side.
Well, yeah, I think I did one line. It didn't go in at all, and then I was like, "Oh man, I've just got to go way
I've
harder."
got to crank it.
Got to get it in somehow.
Yeah.
Drop the needle out an inch.
Yeah, 2 inches.
I've got a question here, but I can't remember where we are. What question were we asking?
We were asking.
Favorite tat.
We're still on that. Okay, yep, cool. I didn't
Oh,
want to.
yeah. Have
And
you done
you-
any
yeah,
head tats, any
we've
neck
all
tats?
answered it.
Oh, Luke chucked the question into the head tats. I get that.
Yeah.
Yep. I wanted to ask. So you've obviously during your apprenticeship, you obviously learn how to tattoo. You then also learn how the shops operate and the industry operates and stuff like that. But is there something that you've learned throughout your experience at the shops? Because we all work at different shops. You know, Charles and Luke. I should have said this at the start. Charles and Luke started up here, and
Up here at 178 Carlisle Street
yeah, and then they work down at Vintique.
in Mordialloc.
Yeah, which we think gives them, opens their perspective to different clientele base. You know, you're not working in a shop that does almost exclusively traditional
Yeah,
tattoos.
you get heaps of walk-ins and different stuff down there as well.
it. And our perspective is it makes you a more well-rounded tattooer ongoing in your career, getting exposed to different stuff and working with artists who specialise in different styles. Jack's been up here at Private. You started up at the Private shop and you've recently moved down to 178 with me and Bella.
Come down with the big dogs.
Yep. So yeah, has there been something that you sort of learnt outside of the actual function of learning how to do a tattoo that sort of stuck with you? You
yeah.
can say no if nothing.
Nah, definitely.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much learned how to be an influencer. It's still learning.
So Bobby and Hal call it playing the game.
Yeah.
And that's the game on the socials.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I text Cody this morning. He texted me something about that, and I just said game equals played.
Exactly.
You got to play it. And
So yeah, just generating content, I guess, for all the stories, staying consistent with all the posting and stuff you're doing, trying to have like a bit of different style of content, you know, not just all, you know, straight tattoo photos. You want to get videos and stuff in there.
Bit of personal
Shop
stuff.
experiences, personal stuff.
Yeah, just generally how to market yourself, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is what I struggled with when I was doing graphic design. So, yeah, it's sick.
So are we saying that we could create a marketing agency?
I reckon.
Oh,
Yeah.
But fuck that.
We'll see how this podcast goes.
Flop.
so what you guys say that's like you've all learnt the how to be social media masters.
Well, still learning, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
we're
master.
not Hal Hunter level yet, but we're trying to get there.
No.
Okay.
Hal-
I'm not even Hal Hunter
Charles
level
is
yet.
taking over the TikTok game, so
Well,
we're just trying to catch up.
I was about to say, Hal has recently introduced me to the TikTok.
So are we
Which
going to
is,
see you on there doing dances?
Yes.
For sure. That's what's to
Nah,
come.
just sort of the same as Instagram, just like interesting tattoo videos and stuff like that. Yeah. If you check out Hal's Instagram, TikTok, all those videos are, you know, quite interesting.
Come paint a sheet with me.
Yeah, day in the life.
Yeah, I think it's cringe, but you kind of have to do it.
It is. It is very cringy. You feel very awkward posting it and filming it, but it
That's the
gets
game.
really good traction. It's what people want to see, and it shows them a different insight into a tattooer's work, like a daily life of tattooing. So
It's the digital
whatever,
age,
sell
gotta
your
get
soul
with
a
the
little bit.
times.
Yeah, that's right, Jack.
Yeah.
That's right. I like that.
Hal keeps leaning on my hair. I'm about to bash him. Sorry.
Well, put it in a ponytail.
Get your own chair.
Well, I was hoping you guys were going to say like, oh, I've learned how to,
Be humble.
be a good person or something, but
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys teach us
Maybe
that on the day-to-day
next
basis.
episode.
you've learned how to use Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, not use it, but to utilize it,
There
I'd
we
say.
go.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not just social
Okay,
media
sucker.
though. Like you guys are from the start always said to be like obviously super nice to your clients and like how to talk to them and stuff and like get them to come back by being just like a
Yep.
nice person.
Well, I think like all you boys are actually really good at the customer service thing.
Way better
Really?
than Hal was to start.
Yeah, it's like,
I suck.
nah, you're good. You're quiet,
Yeah.
but sometimes that's a good thing, you know? But I remember like Cody was fucking bad, like really bad. He still struggles a little bit now.
Sorry, we have a postman arriving.
Oh,
Thanks,
Charlie.
Charles.
Thanks, Charles. Like, I remember there was this one time at Vintique, Cody went up to this middle-aged woman who'd come in to get a tat, and he was like, what do you want, cunt?
I just looked at him and I was like,
that
for
sucks.
fuck's sake, Cody. Oh my God, think.
Oh, it was fine. And
But he didn't even realise. That's just how he used to
That's-
speak.
yeah.
He still speaks like that, but he's a bit better now.
the funny thing is, like, I was bad as, like, so bad. Worse than Cody. Like, I didn't...
You wouldn't swear at people. You just wouldn't even look at them or speak to them.
Yeah.
So you would like walk up and be like, appointment for Hal.
I couldn't talk to him. Like, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Bobby and Scott, and they were, like, really good at it. I think I've said this before on the podcast, but... Yeah, it's like, I just couldn't, like... You know when you have an awkward situation when someone's like, you're trying to think of stuff to say, but then you end up just saying nothing because you can't decide. And
You're
you feel-
overthinking it.
Yeah, you get in your
every
head
time.
about it.
You feel like you've got to say something. That was always me. I'd be sitting there like just trying to fucking think of something to say to him.
Yeah. Oh, what's your favorite color? The awkward ones.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys all do good.
So what, did you just sit in silence for the majority of your first tats?
Yeah. And I think you got to remember like,
I reckon the first year of you tattooing, you would have said maximum 20 words to each customer.
were you there, were you?
I was there for quite a bit of it. I would always pop in.
I remember the first time you tatted me was very quiet. Well, it started off, we went into that back room
Yeah.
and you flipped it at, I can't remember, I think someone was vaping
Dave.
in this back room.
Dave.
Yeah, and it was like, it was thick. So this isn't like the new age vapes that everyone has now. This is like the full...
The smoke machine.
They're like PSP size, yeah. And when they're burning, it sounds crazy.
Yeah, it would
they're
bubble.
crackling. It was like a
Yeah.
robot.
That
And
was
so
weird.
there was a bloke sucking on one of those, and the room was filled with smoke, and it was just sitting there.
Yeah.
And then I remember Hal ripping into well, not the client, but Dave, for being like, why the fuck is the room like this? And then I got tatted in silence, and then, yeah, that was it.
Well, yeah.
But you're still here, so.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, I can't imagine what Bobby and Scott think now when I talk to customers, because I was fucked. Like, I was so bad. And they used to make fun of me so much about it. But, yeah, it's like, also, I was tattooing in that room. Dave was in there when I tattooed you, Charles, but like before that, it was just me.
Yeah.
So I had this big room, like pretty decent
Which is more
size.
awkward.
Yeah. And it was just me, and like we used to shut the doors and shit. So it would just be like, I'm just in the room with some person I've never met. And
So there's no music or anything, or no?
No, sometimes we did, but it was like sometimes you just have to play music on your phone and like put it down.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Like
You guys don't understand the luxury.
I would
you
feel like I'm
run into.
about to get killed or something if I'm just locked in this back room with the phone playing music.
You can't
Yeah,
see,
it's creepy.
you guys think like, yeah, you're coming into the like,
The easiest setup, like, yeah, you have to clean the shop and stuff. That no one enjoys doing that. But the
love it.
luxury you have now.
yeah, this was like, yeah, it was so the old Vintique. I don't know if it was like this, Charles, when you first came in, but when I first started going there, it was like you go up the stairs, you go into the left, which is the main room, still the main entrance,
Yeah.
and there was a red couch, a big desk, then like a petition wall, and Scott and Bobby tattooed in that front room.
Yeah.
Then, if you went outside that door again, back to the start, there was off to the right was like a staff room. And the first time I started going there, that Bobby had like a golf net set up in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there was like a little.
I remember there being an Xbox there. I
There
don't
were
remember.
always
Yeah.
so many toys in there.
That got turned into the staff room, and it was like a
Sounds fun.
PlayStation room and shit. And I remember Scott used to play like Need for Speed, and Dave used to play Diablo,
Yeah.
which was like some weird like
I know that game.
fucking devil
That's a good game.
Oh, I'm sure you like it, Luke. And then there was like the back room, which I tattooed in.
I just remember all the ceilings were black. All the walls were like maroon colored, and everything had gold trim like around it.
Oh,
And
oh
the
my God.
amount of stuffed animals.
No, they weren't stuffed animals.
No,
It was
taxidermy. Yeah, full taxidermy foxes, owls, like
There was
everywhere.
like massive
that's
deer
creepy.
heads, like huge. Like if you were too tall, you would hit your head on the bloody antler walking past.
When you're sitting in the waiting room for your first tat and you're just staring in the eyes of this fox that's just looking at you, it was intense as.
it was creepy.
It was weird to think back like how much taxidermy there was in that.
There was so much.
One girl cried, had a panic attack when she came in because of the taxidermy.
yeah.
And it was, I guess she wasn't into it. But
An already stressful situation for a lot of people, like, you know, going into a tattoo shop, getting their first tattoo.
and you tattoo them with a big deer
There's
head.
a deer hovering over your head, the horns pressing up against your forehead.
Well, I found this video the other day. It's on my Facebook page. I'll save it and put it on my Instagram one day. It's like when Scott and Bobby outlined my back together at the same time.
Yeah.
It was in that back room, and it's like, fuck, it looks old, man. Like Bobby and
So
Scott
dated.
are wearing these massive new era snapback caps, and I think I'm wearing like a full slouch beanie or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the clothing tells the time. I remember seeing old photos of Bobby, and it's, the skinny jeans, and it's crazy.
The dyed fringe that goes all the way down.
Well, in my apprenticeship, I had to go walk down to the local laundromat in Mordialloc and wash all of Bobby's clothes and go and buy all of his like groceries and dog food and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, these boys have straight like learn to tap jobs.
Yeah. Do you want to take Bobby's dirty undies and stuff and wash them?
No, thank you.
No way.
The worst I've done is clean. Yeah, I haven't done anything like that. Just have to climb out onto that like awning across the
to
street.
clean the windows.
Try not to get hit by the power lines and cleaning those windows.
Yeah,
Which just get caked with bird shit.
they
For all
do.
the seagulls.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, there's definitely no grocery shopping.
We can do it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do my groceries.
I've got written down here Luke Boomerang tattoo, and we all know that. So I want Luke tells that story, I want you guys to think if you've had any similar situations.
You tell it. You're way better at telling it.
I've actually got, I feel like not many of us have been stitched up as hard as Luke has with some tattoo experiences.
But
I have the junkie that came in that day and was like ranting at you, and she ended up hucking a massive loogie at us. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
She
luckily it
spat.
landed on like the massage bed and not on
What?
either of us.
Why is
Yeah.
she doing that, Luke?
I don't know.
She was just off, like
on
absolutely
something
off her head.
just a bit crazy.
Throw the bed out after.
No, I made
I
Luke
just
clean it.
methoed it.
And you get that bloke Crowy as well.
Crowy.
Yeah.
The koi fish that you did.
Oh, yeah.
Was it having the beers at 10 a.m. and
Yeah.
And then knocked it over.
Spilling beers everywhere.
Knocked it over.
But he wanted to chat to someone mid-tattoo. I remember this because I was tattooing next to you. And he turns around to you and he's like, hold on. And he like made, like put a finger up to your face and was
Yeah.
like, just wait. And then he like turned around and like talked to Popper. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
But anyway.
I feel like I'm the
Boomerang.
only person that could deal with those
that a
kinds of
Vintique?
people.
Is that the client?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The koi
Vintique.
fish man.
When he left, he gave the beer to my client, and it was
Yes.
it was 10:30 or
and he
11
went
or
to-
something.
Popper like gave him a high five and a pat on the back, and he did the same, and he fucking burst Popper's jacket. Like all these feathers just started
Popped his
coming out of it.
jacket. Well, I think didn't Popper go down and get him the beers? 'Cause
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah, that's right.
He'd already been started getting tattooed.
Something like that.
Yeah, Popper was being polite and came around and was saying to like all of us, like, hey boys and whatever, do you want a coffee? I'm going down. And then this bloke Crowy like turns around, he's like, I'll grab some beers, mate.
Yeah.
I like it.
And Popper was like, yeah, righto. Didn't realise I was being serious.
He's a character, Crowy. All right, so you want me to tell the
Boomerang story.
boomerang story, Luke?
Yeah, you tell it way better.
Well, it was, so I was tattooing in the front room, just if you can see the video, just over there. And Luke was on the opposite to me, and it was like, was it your first walk-in?
One of the first.
Yeah.
It would have been like the third or something.
Yeah, okay. I remember this bloke came in and like, he was just like a street guy, which we get on the street here all the time in St Kilda. Nice guy and everything, and he wanted 4, was it 4?
Yeah, I think 4 boomerangs.
4 outline-only boomerangs in his groin.
Identical, yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like one above the other. And no
Mind
one,
you, he's pretty old, so
It
he
was-
had like some saggy skin down there.
that would
was
be a
like
hard
a-
tat on anyone.
It was a
Groin.
biro pen drawing that one of his mates did.
Okay.
He like scrunched up and he rolled it out for me.
And it was like no one had time and all this. And then I was like, oh, do you want to do it, Luke? And you were like, yeah, I'll do
No,
it.
you were like, Luke, you're doing it.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just remember, it was like,
Yeah. He's like, oh, I ask you. No, I was like, Luke, you got
I
this
was
on today,
tattooing
mate.
at the
But I
time,
liked
and I looked across, and Luke was stenciling this tattoo onto this guy's groin. Like, he was wearing like triangles, like tidy whities essentially.
Yeah.
Luke's kneeling down, stenciling this tat on, and the bloke's rubbing his hair, like his
Like
fingers
patting him like a dog.
through Luke's hair and stuff like that.
So
And I
Luke's
was
got like his head where like the guy's genitals are, and he's just like rubbing his head.
I never thought of it like that.
Me and
until
Zach were
now.
here at the time, just looking at Luke, and Luke, you looked at me one time, and I was just like, "Fuck, I don't know, man." Like, I don't know why he didn't say like.
Did you see the panic behind Luke's eyes? Yeah.
I was
What
like,
do
you
I
could have
do?
just said to him like, "Can you stop?"
Can you
I
stop
didn't even
touching me?
notice. I was stressing about doing the tat.
Yeah.
Noticing rubbing your hair.
And I had to like fully, like, it was on his dick pretty much. Like, I was stretching it
Yeah,
away
you were right in there.
to get the fucking lines
Yeah.
in.
And he was a lovely guy. I remember he was like really into
Yeah,
the
he
band
was
The
nice.
Angels and shit like that. And anyway, he
Bit
pretty much
shaky though. He was
he had like a
something.
He had like a medical condition where like he was honestly like the whole time, like his whole body.
he either had a medical condition or he's on drugs.
Well, I'm saying a medical condition.
Okay.
'cause it sounds
He
nicer.
said it was too much coffee.
The lattes,
Yeah.
they'll
What,
do
3
that.
and
liters.
fuck, like honestly, it would have been one of the hardest tats ever to do. And I remember at the end, it's like you were like, "All right, man," and he just stood up, like pulled his pants up, put the money on the table, and just walked out.
He wouldn't let me wrap it. He just gave me the money and ran. But that's
And
alright.
then you were like, yeah, do you want me to wrap it up for you?
Like, nah.
Nah, I'm going. I gotta go.
He was busy man.
But fuck, man, I remember seeing you getting patted on the head, and I was like, "Fuck, this is weird."
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Yeah.
You've
Have you
had
got-
a good time.
Good story.
I'm glad I've never had to experience anything crazy like that.
I'm surprised
honest.
you haven't in Morty.
No. I think,
I guess Carlisle Street's a bit next level, eh?
well, yeah, where this shop is situated, there's,
You get a lot of homeless people and you get a lot of drug addicts. And some are pretty crazy. Most of the time, it's totally fine. They just want a tattoo, it's been payday or whatever, and they just want to come in and get something. But we've had some weird people, like one bloke came up and like, it was like pastrami or ham or something, and he was like rubbing it on the windows.
That was weird.
Was that with you and me? Oh no, that was
And Maya was here too.
And we've just had Cody Hill come on in.
welcome.
Everyone's like now going to start arriving for work.
Yeah. Because you guys
Traffic
were
was
late.
really bad today, so me and Bella were late. That's why we're running a little bit time. But we've been gone for 50 minutes. It's not bad.
Come say hello.
Mr. Hill.
What's going on?
Hiya.
The fucking famous Instagram man.
Yeah, we were talking all about you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dude that rubbed the ham on the window.
That was weird.
And he was like was that, are you talking about the dude when I was there? Or is this another pastrami man?
it was.
I don't know.
Because I remember him pointing at me
Yeah,
through the
you were
window
getting
and
really
like
pissed off
threatening
at
me, or like, you know, like he was jabbing me with his finger through the glass. And it
Yeah.
was me and Luke there, and the rest of the shop was just females. And I remember thinking like,
You were ready.
if something happens,
You
I'm
were
gonna
getting
need to
ready.
do something
I'm
here.
going to step up.
Because Luke was getting tatted, and I was just, yeah. I remember getting up because I was looking at the deadlock on the door, thinking the deadlock's open, so you can just open the door whenever he decides to come in here. And then, because Maya, I think, was tatting like a young girl, like 18. And I remember thinking, like, we can't let this dude in the shop with the.
Staunch Charles being like, I'm going to rescue everyone.
So I saved the day, stood up, went over, and I remember, so I was standing pretty much like, I'd say 5 inches away from him, just with the glass like separating us, and I looked straight into his eyes and like turned the deadlock and locked it, and then everyone in the shop starts laughing just because of how like intense the situation was, and then he started going crazier because we disrespected him by like locking the door.
Fair.
And then he walked down the street, and I thought, fuck, if he comes back, then it's gonna
Yeah, with
be
a
on.
baseball bat or something. Or more ham.
Have you had one, Jack?
Nah, it's been pretty tame. Up in private, you're kind of hidden away, except for it's
Oh, you get that fucking unit comes in who wants to like.
Yeah, there's one bloke who comes in who wants some like tats that we definitely don't agree with.
Is that Aaron's mate?
Nah,
Well, not his mate, but the one that always comes in,
yeah.
tries to talk to Aaron and like acts like they've known each other for 10 years.
Yeah, there's this one bloke who like pushes a trolley full of shit, like a lot of shit. There's,
I have a story
Power
about
tools.
Trolley Guy.
yeah, and like one time he came through with like a full 6 meter ladder on this thing, and he's just pushing it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Leaves it there, looks in the window, makes eye contact with Aaron, starts saying something through the window. Aaron's like, "Fuck, here we go." Next minute, he's in the shop with like just a whole bunch of shit on him, and he's just like, he's talking to him like he's an old mate, like from 10 years ago. And then he starts saying like he's got these gold tattoo machines, and he's like, "Oh, just come down to the beach and we'll get them." and we're just sitting here like, what is this guy saying?
beach.
Like, can you like what are you doing? And yeah, legit, you just kind of have to wait them out. Like, you can't really
You
like
do, because you
can't.
don't know what their reaction will be if you
Yeah.
try and say like, hey, you got to leave. Because it's like, well, they haven't done anything that wrong. They're just sort of hanging out, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, usually they kind of say their couple little things, they walk around a bit and then they leave.
No,
Yeah,
he
they
tries
realise
to.
we're not really giving them anything in return, so they're sort of like, I'll just leave.
That dude wants to chill though.
Oh no, yeah, he's like talking, but then like he's talking normally, so you think you're having a normal conversation, then he like switches and starts like either speaking to himself or
I
like
remember
he's like got another ego.
He had this cricket bat.
Yeah,
when
and it
he
had like
came in,
spikes on it or
and
something.
he had like
shit.
he had like nails or spikes or something in there, and he was talking all friendly to Aaron, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, this thing could do some damage, couldn't it?" And then Aaron's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You could do someone a mischief if you hit them with this." And then it was just staring at Aaron, and then it just went silent in the shop. I'm like, what do
what is
we do
happening?
here? Well, me and Aaron saw him on Ackland Street as well.
Oh really?
Like, yeah.
Trolling and everything?
In real life, not in the shop. Like out on the streets.
In real life.
Yeah. Well, the shop is like, yeah, it's not, it's like, it's not real. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my trolley guy, I'll make this one a quick one because we should wrap up soon, but my trolley guy, I was down working at Private and I had a customer, I was like tattooing the back of her hamstring and she was laying face down, so her head was right next to the window. And this guy came along with the trolley. He was absolutely off his head and he was like full leaning down, like trying to like touch his toes, but obviously not trying
Oh,
to.
not this guy. I remember
Yeah,
this.
I thought you were there. Anyway, so it probably took me like hour and a half, 2 hours to do this tattoo. The entire time he was leaning down, did not like try and lift up once. He kept pulling his pants down. So he had like jeans with a belt and like jocks on, but he'd pull his pants down and try and push out a huge shit. But
Right
because-
outside the window.
Right outside the window. And the private shop is a little bit like elevated off the street. So where his bumhole was literally like eye level for her. And all she could see was like his bumhole just like
Winking.
pulsing, like trying to like push. And he just couldn't go. And it was
much
so
info.
bad. Like we didn't know what to do.
The brown
so, like,
wink.
I just kept being like, oh, just don't look. Like I like pulled the curtains across, but like it just made it worse. Then
But
he
you can
rolled,
still see through. They're not
Yeah, you
like
can,
they're
like,
not
they're
blockout
sheer.
ones. They're the sheer curtains.
and then his trolley like rolled into this like new Range Rover that like someone had just like parked on the street or whatever. And then it rolled into another car and the woman came back and was like, what are you doing? You hit my car. Like she didn't realise that he was off his face. Oh, it was fucked.
And then the cops even pulled up. They stood there, kind of looked at him for a
That's
sec,
right.
and then just left.
Yeah, they looked at him and they were like, we're not going anywhere with this guy. Like, it's just not worth it.
And when you were saying bent over, like he was full folded, like his head was at his feet, like touching his knees.
His head was,
It was
in between his shins. Like,
was crazy.
And the whole time he was going like, like trying to push it. Oh, it was,
Yeah, he
it
was there.
cool.
He was there for a good like.
I'm
hour and
never
a
going to
half to
forget
2
that.
hours.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was disgusting.
Luke's like,
Yeah,
that's
Bella really
disgusting.
painted the picture there.
I did, yeah, graphic.
Too graphic.
Yeah, when you brought out the word pulsing, that was an image, like 1,000 images in my head.
Like you were there with us.
Oh, I was.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up there. It's been 56 minutes, which is
Damn, record.
it goes quick, I think. But let's run through the socials quickly so everyone knows where to see your careers and all that. So Jack,
Jack X Tattoo on Instagram and then Jack X Tattoos on TikTok.
Oh, the double whammy.
yeah,
I
you're serious.
didn't know my TikTok account.
Yeah, Luke Etho.
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 Good.
On all,
On all platforms, I think.
yeah.
Open up the Explore page on TikTok, you'll see Charles there.
Come on,
I'm trying
Charles.
to find
What's
my
yours?
So on Instagram and on TikTok is Charles Cooper Tattoo,
Yep.
and that's it.
And you know ours.
Well, we hope you do.
I hope so. It's just Hal Hunter on LinkedIn. No X's.
The one with the blue tick, yeah.
So you guys think it's like all just Instagram and TikTok and that? It's like back when I was starting, I was trialing everything.
You're on
Go
MySpace.
suss my LinkedIn
I heard
profile.
about the
Facebook
MySpace
Marketplace.
profiles.
Yeah, more MySpace was big before Facebook. Then it was Facebook, and
My mum didn't let me have MySpace.
that says that you're young, very young. But anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in. And if you want to check out all the young boys on socials, they're active on their heaps. And
If you want to get a tat, hit him up.
yes, and yeah, let us know what you think of the episode. And I've got an interesting. Oh, I didn't even mention we're going to Sydney next week.
Oh yeah, fuck, we forgot to talk about that.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
So myself, Cody, who was in here before, Charles, and Luke.
So this will be my first guest spot.
Yep.
Luke,
And
is your second guest spot?
Yep.
Okay.
First one was in Ballarat.
First interstate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
International.
and we're working on one for you in the future, Jack. But yeah, we're going to Sydney. I'm working at Hunter and Fox. And on that, I've got
What dates, please?
Feb
9th of Feb?
to the
till
11th.
11th, yeah.
Yep.
I think we come back on the 12th in
Yep.
the afternoon.
You'll see it all on the socials and everything. And this episode definitely will be out before then. But yeah, I've got a real special episode lined up to record when we're up there. So
I'm excited for that one.
that'll be exciting. And yeah, like and subscribe and
Like, follow, subscribe. Send it to your friends. Send it to your grandma.
Do it all.
She might like tats.
Hi, Gran.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Carlisle Tattoo Co. 178 Carlisle Street, St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia.